Hey, how's it going?
Good to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, well, thank you for showing up and introducing the project to maybe some people that don't know about what you guys are doing. So we're very excited to get into it and tell people why they should be paying attention to Timpi.
Awesome. So I've got the Timpi logo for my icon. So just to let you know, everyone here know I'm Gareth Evans and I'm the COO of Timpi. We've also got Joerg who'll be joining us.
Okay.
Very soon. Who's the CEO?
Fantastic. And we're looking forward to jumping into this. Absolutely. Let me go ahead and tweet out to our community that we are going to be starting here, and we'll get it going.
Have we run an AMA with you guys before? I feel we may have done one about 6 months ago or 4 or 5 months ago.
I don't know, Will.
No,
we didn't, right, Will?
No, we haven't. So I think we spoke about it, and then the timelines didn't kind of meet, unfortunately. But we were in the very early talks about it, so I've had conversations with Joerg several times.
Oh, great. Glad we can finally make it work.
Yeah, we've been in your ear for 6 months. That's what it was.
Thank you for persisting.
Yeah, no worries. We're always looking for solid projects that are being built to come and explain what's going on so we can help support the project, right? I mean, you look at something like pre-search, and I know you guys aren't exactly doing what they're doing, and I know you guys are a little bit more than what they're doing. We actually did I think our community had like 5 or 6% of total nodes for pre-search for a very long time. So we definitely can help, build up communities, new projects. So, we'll do what we can to support you.
Was it only 5 or 6%? I thought it was like close to 10.
It could have been close to 10, but that was like I don't know what, December or November of last year. It got up there.
Right.
We're waiting on one more person to start, right?
So Gareth,
Joerg's struggling to join. He said, but he's going to keep on trying.
Okay,
he should be here in a minute.
Yeah, well, let's just give him another minute. That way, he doesn't maybe have to play catch up. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So, guys, we'll start in a second here. If you can tweet out the space, that'd be great. Leave a comment or have a question for the space. If you guys want to maybe ask a question at the end, we can probably bring you up depending on how much the time the Timpi team has. But I definitely want to address everybody's questions if we can. If we don't ask the question, we'll get it addressed at the end. If they run out of time, we will send them the questions and get it answered for you. So we will not leave you stranded with requests. Here we go. J Bus, right? Yes, that's him.
Yeah,
I know that's him because I've seen his picture on LinkedIn.
So great. Hello, everyone. I'm here. Yay, it worked finally.
We're excited. Yeah, you have to do it from your phone. Twitter hasn't solved the do it from your computer yet, I don't think, right?
Yeah, my phone didn't let me join. I don't know. It didn't open Twitter. I thought, hey. I clicked on it. Nothing happened.
Well, I'm just thankful that you're here. So let's go ahead and get started. That way we don't have to let people wait too much longer. Hey, guys, appreciate you coming. It is Friday. I think it is August 26th. I never leave my house. I'm always doing crypto, so sometimes I lose track of the date. But we're very excited to be sitting down with the CEO and the COO of Timpi. They've been working on this project for quite a while now, and it looks pretty incredible. So we're very thankful for their time today. Gentlemen, did you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves and maybe a little bit of background for the people that might not know who you are?
Yeah, sure. I can maybe I can start off with it, and then Gareth can continue. So my name is Joerg. I'm founder, CEO of Timpi, and my background is information security. And a couple of years back, I started a business called DuckDuckGo, which is a cyber intelligence business. And for this business, I needed to create a search engine. A search engine in this case was a little bit different, but that sparked the idea of shouldn't it be great, or it would be great to have an alternative to today's search engine market. And that became Timpi. So we started last year. We already started developing the solution itself before we even went public, basically. And before we had our first round of IDO, we already had an alpha version of the solution. And we are now well into development, running our beta testers. And so that's basically how Timpi became.
Fantastic. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so my name's Gareth Evans, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Timpi. My background is in IT consultancy, particularly specializing in implementation of ERP systems, less from a technical perspective, more from a business perspective. I've been working in blockchain space for coming up to 3 years now, and really in terms of blockchain technology, then utilizing my experience in ERP systems, it's how do we take traditional business models and merge them into blockchain technology, and that's exactly what we're doing here with Timpi.
Fantastic, guys. So for people that might not exactly know what Timpi is, I know you kind of hinted at it, decentralized search engine, but you guys are building a little bit more than that. You guys want to go ahead and explain, what in fact the entire project is, so we can kind of catch everybody up?
Yeah, sure. So Timpi is the world's first decentralized search engine that is completely independent from anyone else. So that means we do have our own index. Most search engines today rely on index of accessing index from Google or Bing. So if we look at DuckDuckGo, for example, they do not have their own search index. Having your own search index gives you the ability to create your own search algorithms. And so how do you rank pages? And we always said Timpi is completely unbiased. So we do not want to decide on what's the search algorithm will look like. That's why we introduced our governance process. So the community basically decides on the ethics and the search algorithm itself. That makes it really driven by the community or driven by the people for the people. It also means that our information is completely unbiased, and we do not store your personal information when you use Timpi. So that means it's a real alternative, and using the decentralized way allows us to have the same experience you have from other search engines. With Timpi, as well as our search index itself will be the same size as you have on Google or Bing, basically. Besides that, of course, having a huge, vast network of computers that work together, we and an ecosystem when it comes to freedom of information, we basically foresee other services that fits into the whole Timpi realm. So it's basically we looking into email, something like that. So that's where what Timpi is. I think Gareth can elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah, fantastic. Please.
Well, I think if I speak from a market perspective, if you look at the search engine market, it's currently valued around $1.2 trillion, and Google owns 93% of that market. And so there's two things that come from that. One is the huge opportunity that there is here for anyone getting into the search engine market. And we're not the only players. You mentioned Presearch earlier on, and of course other people, you'd have heard of DuckDuckGo and Brave, all of which use Google's index, by the way. But they're taking away small little snippets of Google's market share, because even at a 0.5% market share, that still equates to around $1 billion of revenue. So, but it's a difficult market to get into. And that's one of the problems we're solving with this decentralized architecture, is we're solving one of the major problems and barriers to getting into the markets of the sheer cost of the architecture needed to run such a thing. But what we'll also be able to do at the same time is, because we're decentralized and run by the community, we're actually able to back our claims up that we are unbiased and we don't use people's data, because it's community driven and the data's on blockchain, which is transparent. And we are the only people in the world who is doing that. When you look at Google's 93% market share, they not only control the market, but they're also controlling all the information that you're seeing. with their political or corporation bias. And again, that's what Timpi is solving here, is that we're the first search engine in the world which can genuinely say that we're providing you with unbiased search results.
Fantastic. So, I'm very curious because I know when I've used, Brave or decentralized search engine, sometimes, you do get, kind of targeted things. I guess not so much on Brave, but, you still can do it on pre-search with ads and things like that. What does the decentralized search look like? I mean, where are you guys building the index of information from? Or, I'm just trying to, paint a picture of, what can we expect when we start using Timpi to search?
You can expect the same experience you have on Google, basically. So for the user itself, the decentralized part is hidden, or it's not visible. So for the normal search user, you have a normal web page, timpi.com, and you can type in your search query, and then you will get results. We are just working on the design of the search engine itself. Will be ready in the next 2 weeks, I think. And we do change how we search today or how we present the search results. That will be changed a little bit. But basically, you can use Timpi as your normal search engine as you would do with Google, Bing, or DuckDuckGo or whatever. So there is no difference. The difference is how do we create the index and where do we store it? So we have developed software that allows us to have a decentralized network of crawlers. And these crawlers go through the internet and go through domains and then analyze the web pages and the web pages content. And then we have guardians, and guardians are our storage application. So it's a decentralized application that allows us to distribute the storage through many, many nodes. And so it's the back end that is completely decentralized, and it's completely autonomous as well. So that's the main difference. But from a user perspective, our aim was always we want to deliver the same experience the user is used to, and also deliver the same quality. So in our beta phase over the last 10 days, for example, we have a beta phase for 2 months now. It's a public closed beta. We have 500 beta testers, and during the last stint, so we always update the software and get the input from the community, and then have our development team working on improving the software. And over a period of 10 days, we were able to index 2 billion pages just in the beta phase and just with 2 geocores. So that's amazing from a volume point of view. And that allows us to not only have our own index, but our own index is also very accurate and very up to date, because our network of crawlers is quite large. And with a decentralized approach, we can have crawlers or an index that is up to date all the time, where we have news in there, news and social media, what's up to date right now. So that's the main difference.
Fantastic. Will, you want to go ahead and ask a few questions? I know you've been kind of ready for this for a while.
Just before, can I just add to that point while we're
Absolutely.
on there? So I think so Joerg says that we're the same experience as Google. I think when he says that, he means that in terms of the quality of the data, our aim is to be the same as Google, because they're really good at providing people with data. You can't flaw that. But we are absolutely user and community focused. And so what that means in terms of like the overarching user experience, there is differences and strengths beyond what Google is doing. So, for example, when you search through to Google, it can be very difficult sometimes to even tell, what's an actual search result, the data that you're looking for versus an ad. So, and we don't believe that's right. So we're not going to be having any inline adverts. So we do need to have adverts because that's where our revenue is generated from, the bulk of the revenue. But they will be very clearly off to the side, nothing inline. So the data you see on Timpi is completely unmanipulated with no adverts. actually in the actual search results.
Fantastic. So it's something that, that we're going to be familiar with using because it's going to have a similar kind of look and feel, but it's going to have all the ads pushed over on the right side. So your search is actually kind of pure without having any kind of anybody else sending you things or suggesting you things. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
And the ranking also, the ranking is completely based on content. So the ranking is not based on how much pays someone. The ranking is completely based on the content that is related to your search query.
Fantastic.
So,
and these are some of the things that we can do because we have our own index. And again, this is the key differentiator between Timpi and other search engines like the Presearch or DuckDuckGo. I'm not bashing on them, but it is unique aspects of Timpi that enables us to do things because we have developed our own index. Another one of those elements is cybersecurity checks. So the search results will have, and the algorithm has cybersecurity baked into the actual algorithm, which will be displayed in the search results. So even before you click on a potentially dangerous website, you'll be alerted to that fact. And again, we're the only people in the world who are doing that, and we can do that because we've got our own index.
So speaking about the index, what do either of you estimate your index size will be by the end of 2022?
So by the end of 2022, we are looking at around 5 billion pages that have been indexed. We focus more, or we balance it out between the index size, but also the up to date of the index. So how often do we go onto pages that change often? So that's where we balance out index size and the accuracy of the index itself. But we are planning to have an index size of 5 billion. And that is the same index size as Bing has currently. So Bing index size is around 5 billion pages.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I find that interesting. In your white paper, there's a statement that you guys were estimating to have 1 billion pages by end of 2022. So we
updated that because we're now with our beta program. As I said, that was so the white paper was created before the beta started. And now where we have the actual numbers of pages that we analyze through just the beta program, we can increase the number we increased our goal basically, because we now know that with just the 500 we have right now and with just 2 geo cores, we were able to do 2 billion pages within a 10 days time frame. So that gave us a lot of it gave us good returns on the numbers.
I have a follow-up question. So you did say beta. I'm sure there are people in here who are part of your Discord or Telegram, could even be part of the beta program. So right now, as I understand, you have 5 groups as part of the beta. Do you plan to expand to maybe a group 6 within this year or early next year? What does that look like so people can better understand how they can participate with Timpi?
Yeah, so at the moment, we do not plan to extend the beta groups itself for the collector. However, from Sunday, 4 p.m. UTC, we will open up the application form for the GeoCore, for the Guardian, that's our storage nodes. So people can jump onto our Discord server and apply for having a slot on the Guardian for being a beta tester. And then we will start this beta program in the next couple of weeks. And then we will have another one early next year that around the GeoCores. So there will be a public beta testing as well. So there's always an opportunity to contribute. Of course, just pop into our Discord server and get the news from there, and maybe have a chat to Spelling Error, which is one of our admins on the Discord server, and he is also managing the beta program applications.
So real quick, can you say that date one more time for everyone here?
It's Sunday, 4 p.m. UTC.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. And so before I hand it off back to Rob here, I wanted to ask about the next IDO. I understand you guys have done one round of IDO. Do you guys plan to do the second round before year end of 2022, or is that maybe first half of 2023?
Absolutely intention to run that before the end of the year. In fact, way before that. But at the moment, we are unable to give exact dates because it's depending upon partnerships and contracts that we're working through right now. So it's actually this is the biggest question that our community is asking us is when second round of IDO. Definitely this year.
Okay, so it sounds definitely this year, not too far off though, right? Okay. Gotcha.
So, some point between now and the end of this year.
Okay. And then
I wish I could give exact dates, but I can't.
And then following your last statement in terms of partnerships, are these partnerships that you guys intend to follow through? Are these with like centralized exchanges? Are these what I consider off-chain partnerships? You know, can you kind of elaborate what area, what industry, what sector?
So we are talking to exchanges, market makers, launchpads, advertising partners. These are the four strategic partnerships that we are developing at the moment.
Rob, do you have any questions? Or
yeah,
James?
of course. I got lots of questions. Well, James, did anything pique your interest? Did you have a question to get in the middle here? No, he's still on mute. Okay, cool. Guys, so I am interested in the use case of the Timpi token, right? So are advertisers that are going to be on the side, are they going to be using the Timpi token to buy advertising space? Walk us through the use case of the token. You know, how will people be using it? You know, and what is that going to look like?
Yeah, so the utility of the token is built upon the revenue which is being received through advertising and also API licenses. So the advertising aspect, people will be able to advertise on the search engine and other products that we develop in the future in a very similar way to Google's model. And also they will be able to access our API. They'll be able to access our index through an API. So just as DuckDuckGo uses Google's index, we would like to open our index up to other search engines as well. So there's the two sources of revenue. And our revenue is being shared with the community of the people who provide the infrastructure of the whole decentralized infrastructure. So people who are running collector nodes, guardian nodes, and the geocore will receive Timpi as a percentage of our revenue.
Fantastic. No, that's good. I know there's going to be multiple sources for passive income supporting the network. Walk us through the different types of nodes and people will be able to run to help support the network, right? There's the Guardian, and then there's other sources that people can do. Can you walk us through those?
Yep, sure. So first of all, we have the collector. The collector is our crawling engine. The collector does not require any collateral, and you can run it on any computer, basically. So our tests show that you can run it on an older laptop. We just had a user yesterday. I think he was proud reporting it runs on its old laptop. That's cool. It runs on Windows, on Linux. We are going to release Mac OS soon as well. There are some limitations in our environment to test Mac OS right now, but that's now being fixed. But you can run it as a normal piece of software on your Windows computer. You can decide how much resources you give the collector to crawl the internet. And it is hidden behind your IP address. That means that we do not need to know. You don't need to have a static IP address. We don't connect to your computer to run the collector. The collector connects back to our geocores, and that makes it very secure. We also have, of course, the ability for you to run proxy servers or to use proxy servers for the crawling and stuff like that. The next stage would then be the Guardian. The Guardian is the storage node. And again, The Guardian does not require collateral, and it runs on Windows and Linux as well. It would be good to have a dedicated system. Virtual machine is totally fine, as the Guardian, as it's our storage, needs to be up and running 24/7. And again, you don't need to provide a static IP address. The GeoCore is our connecting application for that again, and it secures your environment because we do not connect into your environment. The next is the GeoCore that will come in the next year. We will run the GeoCore on our own initially, but then early next year we will release it to the community as well. The GeoCore does require collateral because it's the brain of the solution, you can say. So the GeoCore coordinates the collectors, the guardians, and also the search queries, and that's the three main. We call them hubs we have. So it's a collector, guardian, and GeoCore. There will be more in the future as we use heavily AI, and we will run several AI models, and we will have a node that will be particular for running AI models as well in the future.
Beautiful, guys. Thank you for explaining that. And guys, if anyone in the audience has a question, go ahead and type it down. And I'll go ahead and type it and ask after we're done with these questions. So we want to see if we get an answer.
I forgot to mention, we also have the Cosmos,
please.
Right? So we
Right.
do have the blockchain nodes as well. So of course you can run a node for our blockchain and contribute to our network that way. So that's the other way you can use or you can contribute to the network. Just run a node for our Cosmos blockchain and become a validator.
Beautiful, guys. Walk us through this. So like if I wanted to go ahead and, let some of these companies get my information, but I can get rewarded. Do you guys have anything like that where you can kind of opt in to sharing your information and getting rewarded? Or is that something that is not going to be for this project?
So that's not in the scope at the moment.
Okay.
However, we have actually been approached by two companies that do specialize in that. So that's actually one of our strategic partnerships that could end up happening, maybe not, I don't know. But it's interesting you mentioned that because I think other organizations have seen the potential there to work with us in that model.
Yeah, you guys are building something truly incredible here, and I think companies are definitely going to be reaching out to you guys as soon as you start rolling more of this stuff out. I think you guys are going to be flooded with emails and calls. Walk us through. So I know you guys got a partnership with Flux Labs. Can you walk us maybe through what that partnership looks like and how you guys are going to be helping each other? What did that do for Timpi?
Yeah, so we're very fortunate to be able to be part of the Flux Incubator program. And they've been invaluable in helping us reach out to some of these strategic partnerships and supporting us in terms of the building the community and marketing. In terms of infrastructure, there's obvious alignments there between what we're doing and their own decentralized cloud-based platform, where there could be a few opportunities. But actually, I'll let you speak around that a bit more. I don't know what you want to share at this point in time and whatnot. So I don't want to put my foot in it.
We are actively working on bringing the collector onto Flux as well. So for Flux, we create the Docker container, and then you can run it on the Flux network, the collector itself. The Guardian will be a next step where you can run the Guardian on Flux if you like. So that's no problem as well. And later on the GeoCore as well. We already have active users in our Discord community who created a Docker container by themselves, and we are looking at that as well right now. So the plan is really that users can use Flux to run our Timpi collectors or guardians, and if they don't have the ability to run it at home, or if they don't want to run it at home, so that's where I think we can really partner up with Flux a lot on that. Our front end will also be then on Flux. So if we look into the website itself, we are planning to host the website, the search website itself, also on Flux.
No, that's great, guys. Thank you for explaining that. And I know some people are a little bit more computer savvy and some people aren't. So it's good that you guys are going to have different options for, your different technical levels. Walk us through Timpi Chain. What is the idea behind Timpi Chain, and what is that about? I saw that in the white paper.
Yeah, sure. So when we started off, we were always a multi-chain project, so that was always in our roadmap. It was initially that we said, okay, we do Kadena and then we do Ethereum, but going through the Kadena first IDO and continuing the development, but also getting the feedback from the community, we decided that Kadena might not be able to support what Timpi will become. And that it starts on easy parts. So if you look at our governance, for example, so we do have our Timpi autonomous government, and it's a process that allows the users to actually really decide on the future, on the ethics of Timpi. And that's something we wouldn't be able to really implement on the Ethereum. So that was when we made the decision that we do need our own chain to actually implement what we would like to implement and what Timpi is all about. And then we looked at, okay, what chain is it we want to use, and we compared, of course, all of them, did a lot of due diligence, and then we decided on Cosmos. Because our view is at the moment, we do believe that Cosmos is for us the best way to go with the future plans we have with Timpi and the support of the interchain communication of the Cosmos network is just it works quite well for us. If we talk about where we at right now, so our blockchain does support smart contracts, for example. So we do have full smart contract support, and it allows even other projects to join our ecosystem. So like-minded projects that could maybe work with our index in the background and create their own solution can join our network as well. And from a development point of view, we are just, at the moment, we are in the lab testing. We are joining testnet very soon as well. The basics of the chain is already done. And we are going through the testing right now. We are ahead of our plans, actually, for the development, which is pretty good. There are still 2 modules we need to develop for the blockchain itself, but it will only be a couple of weeks.
With all of your vast knowledge and experience, I mean, I'm sure you kind of feel right at home by doing this, right? A lot of people get into something new and they really kind of maybe don't know where to start, but you've built something like this already, right? In your previous job. And so it's good to have you. Walk us through governance. I know in page 19 of the white paper, you guys talk about people being elected to the governance chamber. We talked about elections and things like that. Can you walk us through how that's going to work?
Yeah. So basically, our governance process has everyone who basically has a Timpi token can propose a change, so can create a proposal. That proposal goes through a voting process with the community. And if the community thinks that's a great idea, it goes to a group of people from the community to identify the impacts and the implications of any change. So what we would like, what we want to prevent is that, or what we would like to achieve is we want to make educated decisions. So if someone proposes something, we want to make sure that the entire community understands the implications. What does it mean if we do that? And for that, we have a special group. And this group will then discuss and work out what's the implications, what does it actually mean, and how can we do it, and what other areas of the business would be affected. Again, it's from the community, so it's a community group. And then we have a governance chamber which makes the final decision. Again, it's a community as well. But this final decision is then based on facts and based on knowledge. So what we achieve with this process is really that we can work out any change, the implications and the effects and the benefits and advantages and disadvantages of any change, and can give that to the governance group, who then make the decision on a majority vote, basically.
Fantastic. That's good to make it more decentralized. Will, you got some questions, my friend?
Yeah, so I want to make sure we get the audience questions in before I ask mine. So for that previous answer, thank you for that. I did answer one of them. My next question is, does Timpi have any plans for an audit plan going forward for the Timpi chain itself and for the project?
If we want to get audited.
Correct, yes.
Do you guys plan to?
Yes, we are planning to get audited. Yes, for sure. I mean, look, my background is cybersecurity or information security, and I like audits.
He's like, I got this, guys.
It's basically so it's a must-have. We will not only have our smart contracts or our blockchain audited, but we also going to have a bounty program for our application. So I want the community to break our application, please. Because when someone can break it, we can fix it, and that's the best thing that can happen to us. So that's basically what I'm really keen and passionate about it. I not only want to have a search engine, but I want to have a very secure search engine for all parties.
Oh, I like that. All right, so everyone, you heard them. Break it.
Break it, please.
Break everything.
Okay.
What have you done?
So I want to go back to the Timpi chain. So I appreciate your explanation of why you chose Cosmos and why it aligned to the value of Timpi. What I want to ask was, what scalability pain points were resolved by, having a Timpi chain? What pain points have you guys overcome?
One of the pain points is just the transaction cost, for example, right? On Ethereum. The other pain points, or it's not a pain point, but it's basically if you go into an existing chain like Ethereum, you do rely on the governance and the decisions of the layer one. So as we see Timpi as a project, or as a project that will be around for many years, we would like to have the ability to decide on our own how the chain and how the parameters will develop. So what decisions we want to make with our community, and being not a layer 2. Doesn't give us the ability to actually do that and to also scale in the way we want, because with our own chain we can have more control over transaction cost, for example, so gas fees. We have more control over that area. We can onboard other projects that fit into our ecosystem and that helps the complete or the entire idea of unbiased information, which is not only search, helps to grow the entire ecosystem. And that was why the majority reason why we decided not to go to Ethereum, but use our own.
But if I can add to that, like we are also a traditional business as well as a crypto business, right? And so because we're also a non-crypto business, we've got that traditional side of it. We want to be accessible as possible to as many people around the world, and that means ultimately being multi-chain. And we're always going to be multi-chain. So the center of Timpi, yes, it's going to be built around Timpi chain, but we want to be on multiple different networks so that we can increase exposure and accessibility.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So on the same topic of Timpi chain here, I wanted to ask, you guys said you guys were ahead of schedule. I know you guys started development of the Timpi chain in July. Please correct me if that's wrong. When do you guys anticipate for it to be complete? I think you did hint that the chain itself might be going to testnet soon.
Yep. So we are ahead of schedule in terms of our own roadmap, and we are planning to have the chain ready in October. That's the plan right now. We are going on to testnet very soon. As I said, there are still 2 modules that need to be developed that are very unique, and that's what we are working on right now. But we have running it in our own test network, on our own test environment. We have it up and running, and now we are working through the other items that need to be added.
would you be able to share even you don't have to say the name of the modules, maybe a description of what they do, you know?
I mean, one of the biggest really custom modules is our governance. So our tag, Timpi Autonomous Government, it's something that hasn't been done in this way before, and that needs to be completely customized because we can't use the governance module that you have on Cosmos, for example. We use the governance module on Cosmos for other bits and pieces, but it's basically our tag is the custom module that needs to be completely developed from scratch.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I have a few other questions here. I do want to move on to nodes and kind of NFTs. Will you guys ever set limits for how many nodes will be available at any specific moment? So like in the first half of 2023, do you guys anticipate that you will set, we will only allow so many nodes for collectors or guardians?
Yes. Yes. Yes and no. What we need to make sure is that we grow sustainably. So that means we can't have let's say we can't have 10,000 collectors and only 2 guardians with storage. That doesn't work. So we need to have a sustainable growth. That means we need to have a healthy balance between collectors, guardians, and geocores. That is why we basically developed. We actually invented it. We developed our own protocol. It's the Timpi Autonomous Protocol, which uses the gossip principles. This protocol allows a communication between nodes within our network, and it allows our network to grow autonomously. So that means you can imagine, or you can think about. Our network finds out that we have too many domains that have not been analyzed within a certain period of time. The network will react to it by adding more collector nodes or allow to add more collector nodes. On the same time, if we see that our geocores are completely overloaded because we have too many requests or too many from anything, the network will identify that and then will add more geocores. So it will allow users to run more geocores. So that's the protocol we just built in the last for the last while, and it's now in beta testing as well, where the network itself decides when and where it needs to grow. And it also, besides the autonomous growing, it also heals itself. So if a node fails, it will tell the collectors where's the next node they can use and stuff like that. So we also put a lot of fail-safes in there. From our point of view, what we always aimed for is when we say decentralized, that actually means decentralized. So we don't want to have a centralized control server, but we also need to make sure that the integrity and the availability of the network is given at any point in time. So that's where we created our own protocol that is to exchange information between all nodes and allow the network to actually grow. So how it will work in the future once we release is basically we have a website that allows users or contributors to apply for anything, for a collector, guardian, or a geocore. But it also will show you where we need something. So that means you go onto a web page, you see a world map, and then you see spots where slots are available. So let's see North America. Let's say North America has not enough collectors. Then you will see on the North American map that there are collector slots available. So the user can then say, okay, that's cool, I take that. And then that's how the network then grows sustainably. So yes, there is a limitation, but it's not really a limitation where we say we make a hard cut. There are only 10,000 nodes. That's not how it works. It's more the network decides on where we need to grow, and there are parameters that allows us to make sure that also on the revenue side we do have enough revenue that can sustain the network itself. So we don't want to end up with not having revenue and having 100,000 nodes that we need to pay, and everyone will just get not enough, So there is a really healthy balance between what is it we need to reach our goals, in terms of index size, in terms of accuracy and stuff like that. But there's also then the connection to, okay, how many tokens come in from a revenue point of view to make sure that we can sustain the network. I hope that helps.
It does. Thank you. And then before I hand it off or open up, I do have one last question that I for sure want to ask here. I have many more, but I do want to talk about this one here. So I always like to think in comparison. You guys have this nice little table here, dashboards, and it compares Timpi to Presearch to Brave, DuckDuckGo, Google, and Bing, and you guys created that table. So,
yeah.
I think about Chrome, Google, and, they offer their customers, a portfolio of products, right? You have your G Suites and you have all those. You have Brave, you have the Brave wallet. Do you guys anticipate to create your own browser? Do you guys anticipate, what other things will customers using Timpi earn? Is it free storage space, free...
Yeah. Oh, I could give you a very long list. So what we did, it's pretty funny that you'd ask this question. So what we did was on our Discord server, we have an innovation corner, you can say. So we have basically give the community the ability to let us know, hey, what is it you would like to see in addition to a search? And I have to say our Discord community is really great in having amazing ideas. I would have not thought about some of them. It's really cool. So yes, of course. I mean, that was and look, it's one of the pieces that also fit into going into layer one and using our own blockchain allows us to grow our ecosystem. And that doesn't mean that we have to do it on our own. It doesn't mean that we have to do it. But with having our own blockchain, we can then collaborate with other like-minded projects and create the ecosystem, for example, with storage or, for example, with other services. I mean, there's endless abilities where we can allow other projects even use partially our network, depending on how it fits together. So that's already in there. To answer your question, does Timpi will have its own browser? Yes, we can say for sure there will be our own browser, because I do have a strong idea of, and again, it's my background. I can't help myself, but I don't like being tracked, and I don't like how it works today in terms of search. And I would like to give users the ability to use a browser that protects the user. It actually protects the user from all sides, and that's we can only do it if we have our own browser. So yeah, so we will have for sure our own browser.
Beautiful. Will, did you have any questions, or do you want to start inviting maybe some people from the audience up to ask questions? I know Airdrop had 2 questions. If he wants to come up and ask, he or she wants to come up and ask, or I can ask them if they doesn't raise their hand. Anybody want? Go for it, Will.
Just from that list, Joerg, can you name the top 3 features, top 3 things you think would be vital or instrumental to putting Timpi on the front page? Hey, look at this. This is different. Something we've never seen. Out of the entire list that you received from the Discord.
From the feature list, future feature things.
Yes.
So it is certainly the browser. Another one would be for sure email, and I think a secure document management or document storage. And again, it's not something we have to do ourselves, all of these services, but it just fits very well into the whole ecosystem. But we had ideas of shopping. We have ideas of social media from the community, how new communication could look like using blockchain and Timpi. So there are many cool ideas, I have to say.
I like that. Yeah, Rob, did you have anyone that wanted to come up?
He didn't raise his hand, but I got his questions right here. So one of his questions, and I'm just reading off what he asked, said, by the way, I think there won't be any censorship question mark. He said 18 plus is required. I don't think there's going to be any type of age requirement to use it. But he says, what are you planning to do not being on the dark web? Smiley face. I don't know if that's a serious question, but I wanted to go ahead and ask it. He typed it.
Yeah, we had a long discussion internally. Do we want to index the dark web? As with my background, I already did it, so I know how to do it. That's not a challenge. But do we want to do it? We decided against it because, from my experience, and that's a very unfortunate experience, the dark web is not nice. Yeah, you can get a lot of, you can read a lot of stuff, and it preserves your privacy. That's fine. That's true. But there's a lot of bad stuff going on in the dark web, and that's content we do not want to have on a search engine. That's where we said we exclude the dark web itself from our index. Or it's not. We just don't go into the dark web. And the other challenge is also, if we would do it and we would then link pages from our website to the dark web, we do feel sort of responsible. As Gareth mentioned, we do have a cybersecurity rating. So what is it we should put on any dark web page? Risk, danger? I'm not sure. So it's there is some stuff where we don't believe it adds a lot of value, and it will probably add a lot of risk, and not a lot of value. So that's where we don't do it.
Totally respect that. He also had a question here. He says, how will Timpi rank pages? Will there be some algorithm alternatives and DAO members will choose ? If so, do you think the standard users will have the ability to do this?
Yes, so our algorithm will be partially, of course, dictated or formed by the community, and that's what our governance process is all about. We do basically use a lot of AI and a lot of content analytics. So what we say is the page needs to relate and needs to be relative to the content or to the search query, to the content you are looking for. That's one of the most important parts. Then, of course, it needs to be accurate and up to date. Fine, that's another very important part. But we do have, and I can't say it right now because we are just working on the website, on the web search page itself, and how we present the information. But it's pretty amazing. And as I said, we do go a little bit a different way. So we have two ways how we show information. The second way is a very new way how we show information, and that helps us that helps the user to see the most important content very quickly. But then the user can, of course, decide on. They can work with our search index and change the algorithm to get different results. So we are planning to have the ability to have customized algorithms, you can say, or use a change bits and pieces on the algorithm to get different results. So it can be completely personalized if you want to.
Beautiful. I think that definitely answers his question. Will, did you have anything else maybe that you had on? You sound like you had a long list.
Yeah, so there's one more I want to ask, and this one's from the comment section. So, No Dread asks, will Timpi offer their browser as a customized search solution for companies / education industries? Same question for their future products, the email client.
I did not get that. Sorry.
Yeah, do it one more time.
Will Timpi offer their browser as a customized search solution for companies or education industries?
Search solution for companies. What does that mean?
Maybe selling the index or leasing out the index to companies. Right. Maybe is that what you're asking, Will?
So it's the browser. Would you be able to? You know how some browser are automatically installed at colleges or universities or at work. Would you be able to, sell your browser but have it customized, for that specific industry?
So the browser will be open source. So it's not a selling point, basically. The browser will be open source, that's for sure. There will be add-ons as you're used to it that you can plug on, and then you can customize it, install it on your own environment, even if it's business or corporation or universities. They can have it as their default browser. That's no problem. I mean, it's very hard. Don't get me wrong. It might take some time for us to get listed on mobile phones as one of the options for browsing. That's fine, or even as a search engine. We know that always takes a little bit longer, especially with Android being, I wouldn't say owned by Google, but at least having something to do with Google. But you can use the browser, the later Timpi browser, which Timpi browser will not be the name, by the way. We don't call it Timpi browser. That would be a little bit, I don't know, boring.
What's the name?
We don't know yet. We haven't made up our mind yet. Well, it will probably not be Timpi browser. But so the Timpi browser will be it's for free. You can download it. It will just add a lot of functionality that protects the user itself and gives you additional functionality that you don't have in today's browsers.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Okay. Your brother asked about concerns regarding regulation in specific countries that are not search engine friendly. Places maybe like China, North Korea, and a handful of others. How are you guys? Any kind of things with that?
Solid question.
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. We do know that there are some restrictions. Of course, China, we know that. But how do I put it without? It's even if you're in China, you can access many other pages as well that might be on the index. We do not tend, as we don't have control over the search algorithm, direct control over the search algorithm, as it's a community-driven algorithm. There's not much we can do when China asks us to filter out a lot of things, because we're really not really able to do that way. So that we will see what time will tell to see how it works out in these areas. But we are not planning to what we want to deliver is the real picture, the real information that's out there. So we don't want to be biased. So we are completely unbiased. We do not do propaganda in any shape or form. A search engine should always be neutral. And that's my personal view. And that's what I hate on today's market. Today's market is not neutral. If you look into, and you mentioned China, if you look into China, you get the content some powerful people want you to see. If you look in the Western nations, you see content some powerful people will want you to see. It is always biased, doesn't matter what you do. So that's what I think that's the wrong part. A search engine should not be biased. It should not tell me what I think. It should just show me what's out there so I can make my own decision. And that's something we really, that's one of the most important cornerstones we really hold very high and say unbiased is the most important part, because only if you are informed, you can make an informed decision on what's right and what's wrong, or what is it you should think. And as a search engine, I don't see a search engine should ever tell you or only show you one side. And we all know that with what's going on right now in the world, we all know that all search engines currently do that. They show you only one side, depending on what side you are living in, unfortunately.
When you say we don't do propaganda, what we actually mean is we do all propaganda, right?
Okay,
We're just not biased. We're not biased towards any propaganda. So you'll see everyone's propaganda.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Guys, is there anything maybe that we haven't gone over? I mean, you guys have done a fantastic job laying out all the information for people. And I think, I've seen a lot of people in the audience stay for the full hour, so they're actually very excited. Is there anything that we haven't talked about you feel is important?
From my point of view, I'm really proud of the community we have created, especially the beta tester, the group and the guys we have on Discord as the really active. That shows the support we have, but also with testing our software, it pushes us above and beyond, and that very quickly. So they help us to really exceed our expectations. And as I said, we never expected to do 2 billion pages just in our beta program with 2 bloody geocores. Sorry, my language, but that's just mind-blowing, and that was one of the reasons why we increased our goals. So that's what I think. It's a community which I have to really think for and say, great job, guys, cool.
Yeah, and on that note, it's always a privilege to be able to come into spaces like you have here and talk about Timpi, because we're very proud of what we're doing and what the community is helping us do. And so I hope you're all enthusiastic as we are about what we're doing at Timpi. I'm sure there's links flying around, so please join our socials and visit our website, timpi.com, for more information.
Beautiful. And you know what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll post the Discord on a tweet right now for everybody. So if they want to go ahead and join, they can just look at our Twitter and it'll be right there.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. Will, did you have anything that you wanted to ask in closing, my friend here?
No. I mean, I would have wished that if there's anyone in the audience that is a beta tester, I mean, this is your opportunity to ask, Joerg or Gareth here any questions about your personal experience as a beta tester.
Let me go through the list. Maybe I can see someone.
He's gonna call on somebody.
I will point them out.
We did have spelling error in here, but I think he's dropped off now.
Oh, he already knows everything. That's why he's like, I know all this stuff already.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
No, but thank you, Joerg and Gareth, for coming on to the Twitter space.
No, thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys.